Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Plays Games. I hope you're enjoying the Summer Games Fest so far. It feels so odd without there being an E3, but publishers and developers around the world have been doing a fantastic job of getting their message out there nonetheless. A huge spotlight was placed on the big reveal of the PlayStation 5 software lineup, and to me, this highlighted how inclusive everything has become. It felt like there were games for everyone, like Bugsnax, and even though there was only one female featured throughout the presentation, it's been so great to see so many female developers come forward after the presentation to talk about what they're working on right now. Thanks to the other events like Future Game Show and Guerrilla Collective, it also feels like the focus hasn't been just on AAA, and it's been so great to see indie titles get more visibility as they often get lost in the noise around this time. Anyway, getting back to business, for today's episode, I have Alice Liguori on the show. Alice is currently the video producer at VG247, having previously fulfilled similar roles for Rock Paper Shotgun and PCGamesN. It was so much fun to talk to her about our shared past making music videos in Windows Movie Maker, the strange space video editing sits in terms of creativity, and how streaming has helped her to progress as an on-screen personality. I really hope you enjoy Alice's story, and if you like what I do, please be sure to subscribe to my podcast on your chosen platform. This is episode 22 of She Plays Games. Welcome to the show, Alice. It's such a pleasure to have you on, and congratulations on starting your new role as video producer at VG247.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
How has lockdown been? I mean, it must be so sort of strange starting a new role when you're, in the midst of something like this.
Yeah, it's been quite strange, actually, because at Rock Paper Shotgun, where I previously was, I was working from home anyway, but it was still, I don't know, going into that job from working in an office was a strange transition. And then changing job while you're still working from home is so weird because people are like, are you excited? Are you nervous? And I was like, well, it's not going to feel any different. I'm still going to roll out of bed, go downstairs and start working. There's nothing. I'm just logging into a different Slack. I was like, yeah, it doesn't really feel that different. I'm still within the same parent company. I'm still in the main Slack for that parent company. And now I'm just in a new Slack. But it's been so strange and just so weird because there's such a sense of tension around everything at the moment. And people, even though I'm used to working from home, there's still a certain lack of something. I've just been really struggling with focusing a lot lately, and I was really nervous going into a new job with that lack of focus, but the things that you usually do to switch off and unwind are not there anymore. So it's just been really, really weird to try and reset before a new job. So that was more of the weird thing, I think.
Oh, no, I totally feel you with the lack of having things to distract you, because to just not be able to just go to a cafe or a coffee to just get a breather from everything going on. It really has upset me. And I hate to be first world problems about it, but I am a bit having withdrawal.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I used to live for seeing my friends, especially going into working from home the first time. I realized how important it was to see people when you work from home. And now I have to be in my house constantly, and I'm really struggling with it. And it's just so strange not being able to just be do you want to go for a drink when you finish work? I'll meet you in town and we can go out. And that just can't happen anymore. It's just so strange. So strange.
I think there's probably so many people who are just like, I'm an introvert here and now. I'm an introvert. And then all of a sudden it's just like, I miss people.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it. I'm actually not who I thought I was.
That's been me, exactly. When I first started working from home, I was like, great, I don't have to leave the house ever. And now I have to stay in. I'm like, I don't want this anymore.
No. Yeah. No, I can see why kids throw tantrums now. I
can
totally see.
I see it too.
So yeah, on top of figuring all that out, you're also streaming on your personal channel and have been for a while as the name Grimsevers. How important do you feel it is to continue to develop as a professional?
So streaming was something I actually started to do to get through my backlog of video games. And I thought, I'll do it if I've got people watching me, because otherwise I would just play the same 2 games, The Sims or Skyrim, and that's all I'll play if I don't have anyone like telling me to play something else. So I wanted to get through my backlog with it, but turns out I really like streaming up and coming indie games that no one's ever heard of, so my backlog is still just as big as it used to be. But I feel like it's really helped me actually learn to get more comfortable in talking to myself. Like, I used to talk to myself when I played The Sims when I was young anyway, and I was kind of used to just chatting rubbish to myself. But it's been really good to learn a bit more about presentation and presenting myself in front of other people, which I wasn't very good at to begin with. It's definitely something that not everyone can do. Like, people look at streamers and they're like, oh, whatever, anyone can play video games for like 3 hours straight or like 6 hours straight, and it really takes a toll on you after a while. And it's something that it's just been great to allow me to learn how to interact with the community, get new people involved in things, and just try and be welcoming, but at the same time be funny, informative, and just be good with words. And it turns out when you're a streamer, you're not that good with words most of the time. You try and read something on screen and you just can't. The words just blur into one, and then you've got people in chat being like, haha, typical streamer, can't read. But it's just been a great way to just develop my speaking skills. Like, I don't sound very confident at speaking right now. I'm stumbling over a lot of my words, but it's tenfold better than it used to be.
Yeah, that is the thing. And I guess with regards to that, it's hard to teach things like presentation. It's like one of those things that you just have to do, isn't it? Like, you just have to keep on doing it in order to get better at it. But yeah, no, I still struggle. I mean, I feel myself saying absolutely like all the time. You know, it's just one of those things, but it's really cool that that you recognize that. And it is something that, like, I think, yeah, people take for granted with streamers, is that anybody can, it's true, anybody can stream a game, but not everybody can be a streamer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely a difference between playing a game and streaming it and actually being
entertaining.
Streamer. Yeah, being an entertaining streamer. Yeah, there's definitely a difference between the two, which I don't think you really understand until maybe you give it a go yourself for the first time, because it looks quite easy to do, but there is a certain sense of, I don't know, I get really tired after like a long streaming stint, and like, you drink so much water, you drink so much tea, your voice starts going, and you see people do like 24-hour, 12-hour live streams for charity, and you're like, how? I can't even make it through 3 hours. Like,
no, after like 2 hours, I'm already starting to yawn, because we do our stream at like, we try to start about like 7:15 at night. But by 9 o'clock, I'm like, I'm ready for bed. I'm sorry, guys. Like, and like on top of that, if you're playing a game that's like has a lot of stuff going on, you're just like, I'm not even reading words anymore. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get through this game right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as you said, like, you were originally going to try to get through your backlog, which is really like, I feel the exact same way. We constantly are saying that we want to get through our backlog because and I'm guessing like you, like, we have quite a few games that we had for like review, or that we had bought while we were reviewing other games and just didn't have the time to play but really wanted to have. But we haven't we haven't touched it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Nope.
Nah.
No.
I'd much rather play The Sims all the time as well. Like, I'd much rather play that for like 5 hours. And the eco thing. Did you watch the eco life trailer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've got some mixed feelings about that, actually.
I heard that a lot of people do.
I'm quite excited for it in terms of, like, I'm a raging vegan, I love the environment, and I'm looking forward to, like, seeing how that will work in The Sims. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel that new. I don't know. There's a lot of things in it that could have been implemented in Tiny Living or with the off-the-grid stuff in Island Living, and the laundry day stuff came with like the washer board and things like that. So like that's a bit more eco than a tumble dryer and a washing machine. But like they're making a whole expansion pack around it. I don't know. I need to see more before I really weigh in on it, because I'm very unsure how they're gonna like justify it from an expansion pack and not a game pack. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I think that's been the hardest thing about like dealing with how EA have dealt with The Sims, because it just seems to be, a constant issue with it. Because I definitely agree. Like some of the expansion packs that they've had have felt so empty. Yeah. Like just like I paid this much money for this much content, whereas like back in the day, like the original Sims series or the Sims 2, you felt like you were getting like this whole new thing. You felt like you were getting a whole new experience. Yeah. No, I totally feel you on that. And maybe that's sort of the issue with them going more with the stuff packs versus the expansion packs. Like maybe they don't seem to understand what fans consider to be expansion pack versus a stuff pack.
Yeah, there was definitely some strange things going on with Realm of Magic being a game pack and Island Living being an expansion pack, but they don't really feel massively different in terms of what they actually brought. But one of them was twice the price of the other one, and I don't know. It's just really strange. Like they both brought new things. They both brought. Like one brought wizards and witches and the other one brought mermaids, and they both had new worlds and they both had new ways to play. But Island Living didn't really feel like it was worth the price tag, really. Yeah. I don't know, it's strange. That's probably a whole podcast.
About it all day.
Yeah.
Like oh my gosh. But no, Sims aside though, what have been some of your favorite games to stream?
So I've really enjoyed, there's a really good game called Death and Taxes that I played. I played it once on stream and I played it twice in Discord now. But on stream it's really fun because it's got Twitch integration. So people can help vote on things. So Death and Taxes, you play the role of the Grim Reaper. And your job is to choose who lives and who dies out of a quota of people that you see on your desk. And
sounds great.
It is great. And you've got a boss, and he will give you a note on how many people need to live, how many people need to die, if there's any kind of thing. So like, all people over 30 must die, all people under 20 must live, or only scientists can live, or only people in the research field can live. So you have to read these descriptions of these people that are on your desk and make your decisions wisely. However, you can not listen to your boss and you can just go ahead and do whatever the hell you want. And if you buy a snow globe from the shop, you can get you earn coins every day that you work. And if you buy a snow globe from the shop, you can see what actions you do, how they affect the world, because there's like a little mini planet in this snow globe, so you can see if the trees are doing well, if the economy is booming, if people are dying, things like that. But if you're playing via Twitch, people can vote for, like, help choose who lives and dies with you, which was really good for me because I'm really bad with decisions, so probably not the best game for me to choose to play. But the Twitch integration was so much fun. We were having arguments over it. We were like, people were like, I want to kill this one, and I don't want to kill this one. And we were having 50-50 splits, and we were having to discuss it and ask people why. And it was just really fun to play that. But I enjoy Twitch integration because it just makes you feel a lot closer to your community and it makes you feel a lot more involved. But I've also really enjoyed playing games like Portal 2 Community Chambers with other streamers. I played Hitman 2 recently, and that was really fun. And there was one more I was going to mention. And now it's completely lost me. They were the main ones that I could think off the top of my head. I play Skyrim a lot as well, unsurprisingly, with my username, which is from Skyrim. So, but I've just been really enjoying playing loads of little indie games that are coming out and showing people things they may have missed in the Steam charts, for instance, because I mostly play PC games. But the other one I was going to mention, I just remembered. The first game I streamed for the entirety of, like, I'd never completed a game on stream before, but this was the first one, and it was Hellblade. I played that from start to finish, and it was probably one of the most stressful experiences of my life, just because it's so anxiety-inducing and proper spooky in places, like really spooky. And I remember just as I was coming to the end of the game, I was raided by, like, my first big raid on Twitch that I'd ever had. I had like 50 people, maybe 50 plus people come into my stream right at the end of the game when it was getting really, really intense. That was one of my first memories that stuck with me from Twitch, is just that absolute, I was so nervous in front of all these people that didn't know who I was. Some of them stuck around, so that was nice, but it was just, I don't know, it was I really wanted to play it. That was one of my backlog games, actually, so that was good to get through. But also
still want to.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I definitely recommend it. But it's just one of those games that I maybe should have played it in my own time, because reading a Twitch chat and paying attention to a game like that is really difficult.
Oh really my difficult. Gosh, it's so hard. Like, I'm playing through Final Fantasy VII Remake at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some boss fights where I'm just kind of like, I literally can't take my eyes off this because I'm going to kill myself. So it's whether or not I just get a load of game overs and just like suck up maybe being called every name in the book, or I just play this and try to focus. Like, thankfully I have Daryl, my husband, with me, so he can chat more while I'm like very serious watching, trying to play it. But like, it is so hard to do that.
It's really hard. Me and my partner have been playing Resident Evil 7 on stream recently, because people like watching me play horror games for some reason. So if I have my partner on stream, he can play it instead. And it turns out I haven't really paid much attention to the game because I've been reading the Twitch chat instead. Because I don't understand how I do it most of the time. As soon as I'm sat next to my partner while he plays Resi, I'm like, how do I do this on my own normally? Because I don't understand how I could do it. But it's a difficult balance.
Especially with that game. Like, Resident Evil 7 is like so immersive.
So
it's
immersive.
So scary. But I really like the trailer for Hellblade 2 just makes me like so tempted to play it.
Yeah, you should definitely do it.
I really want to. So like, I mean, you know, you play like a real mixture of like AAA versus indie games, but I think like it feels like indie games have a really big thing going on Twitch at the moment.
It's quite nice for people to be able to pick up small games, I think, and it's really nice to show people games that they may have overlooked, because a lot of people just hear about the AAA games. It's quite hard to hear the voices of indie games on social media, and on some major like gaming outlets and stuff. You just don't really hear about them very much. So I think it's just really nice to just show people what they could be playing, and a lot of people like short games over long games these days, and a lot of indie games tend to be much shorter. So I just think it's really nice because sometimes you can get through the majority of an indie game in a stream as well, if they're only like 3 hours or so. Sometimes you can, you know, get through it in a couple of streams, or sometimes you can just play it for a bit, show people what they can play, and then they might go off and buy it as well. So it's just really nice to just spotlight some things that you're interested in. And I've managed to find some games that I didn't even really look twice at. I never wanted to play any kind of roguelike games, but turns out I really like them because I played some indie games. So it's just been really nice. It's been a really nice journey of discovery for me to realize that I shouldn't be put off by genres just by what I see of them. I should like give them a feel first. And it's just been nice to, you know, just get to know some indie games, get to know the developers, and Sometimes the devs come into the Twitch chat as well, which is also really nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
And yeah, they talk to you about it, and you can hear how passionate they are about it, and they can tell you like little secrets or little tidbits of information. And it's just quite a heartwarming place to be.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the like key thing there. Just the fact that you can speak right to them. You can speak right to the people who made the games. And on top of that, you also set up a Discord community called Strem Friends. I really love the name as well. I think it's so funny. It's so cute. So what was your main motivation behind creating this community?
So Strem Friends was originally a working title that just stuck. But my motivation behind creating it was the thing that got me really into Twitch was meeting other people on Twitch, like other streamers. When I first wanted to start streaming, I was absolutely terrified of Twitch. I didn't even think it was a place that would accept me or be welcoming. And there's the horror stories you hear about trolls and people being really nasty to you. They're actually normally the minority that you get on your streams now. I have only been trolled like a handful of times. And when you are trolled, they're so few and far between that you can just rip into them, or your mods will pick it up first. And it's actually like a really welcoming place to be. So obviously you have Twitch teams and things on Twitch where you can find people that are in the same Twitch team, but you have to be a partner to set that up. So I thought next best thing would be to get a bunch of people who are either thinking of streaming, big streamers, small streamers, all of them, any streamer, any platform can all come and they can all meet each other through this one way. We can all see when each other's online and when each other's are streaming. We can all hear about each other, help each other out. And the thing that helped me become comfortable on Twitch was networking with other streamers. So I would go through some Twitch teams of people that I would like. I would go through their Twitch team that they're on, and I would go and find other people that were similar to them and that I also liked and felt comfortable in their communities. So I thought this would be like a good way of being able to directly talk to one another as a streamer rather than as a viewer to a streamer. And it's just been a really nice place to network. People help each other out with all their technical problems, or we all celebrate each other's milestones. And it's just been a really nice place to build and for streamers to just feel like friends rather than competition, because I feel like there can be a lot of comparisons on Twitch. Especially if you become friends with people on Twitch, or if your friends start streaming on Twitch, there can be like a sense of you're all trying to compete for the same space, but you're not really, because you all bring your own thing. And you should all be like aiming to create your own part of you on Twitch. And there can be overlap, obviously, like cross-pollination of communities is like totally great and totally cool, but you're making yourself on Twitch and your community on Twitch. And I think that it's been really nice to be able to get to know the people behind the usernames, basically.
Yeah, and I think that's completely true. I mean, you can only do so much when you're as a viewer for somebody on Twitch. And there's only so much you can do as a Twitch streamer as well. Like if somebody's asking about like setup advice while you're knee deep in a boss fight, it's just not really the easiest thing to do. And I think Discord has just blown up in like the last sort of few years or so as being such a fantastic way of meeting like-minded people and being able to check in with people. I mean, I think it's just incredible. It's completely like, I remember back in the day being like on forums and stuff. And although I do miss having my own signature, I must admit, I miss having my sig and like having my little, design and my HTML font changer thingy. I miss all that. But like Discord is kind of, it is like the next best thing. It's such a great way to meet people. And I think it's amazing that you have set this up, because it's completely true. Like it needs a place for people who are smaller streamers who maybe also don't really feel like they fit with like the Reddit crowd as well. Like I feel like sometimes people get a bit put off by Reddit, or they just can't find their way in to Reddit Whereas like Discord, there isn't that whole point system where you're just like, I will only be seen if my comment is upvoted. Like, everybody will be seen. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I'm a part of Strem Friends now.
Yeah, I saw.
And yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it. Changing gears a bit, your first role in video production, which is like sort of your main roles, was at PCGamesN, and you developed there before moving on to Rock Paper Shotgun, and then now you're on VG247. Each of these are very successful editorial websites, garnering like millions of views a month thanks to their distinct styles. So with that in mind, as a video editor, how do you make sure that you keep their distinct styles in check when you've changed?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually, because I kind of fell into my job at PCGamesN. I didn't really know that doing what I do now was a job I could do. I didn't really think it existed. Like, obviously I knew it existed, but I didn't think it existed for people like me. I didn't think someone who went to like my schools, went to my university, you know, I didn't think that was an open opportunity for me. I thought, I'd have to live in London to do something like that, or I'd have to do X, Y, Z before I could even get there. So I kind of fell into PCGamesN, straight from uni, before I'd even handed my dissertation in. I think I had my interview at PCGamesN. It was just an internship, and the idea was that I was just going to be capturing video and putting the videos together, and that was going to be basically my entire job. There was going to be like no VO work, there wasn't going to be any script writing. It was literally just going to be taking the skills that I had gotten throughout life, playing video games, still not really a skill that I'm really very good with, but you know, I'm getting better, and video editing, which is something I've obviously spent loads and loads of time honing and getting better at. So that was kind of how I fell into the job. And then my role at PCGamesN kind of developed into doing voiceover, starting out with helping out writing scripts, and eventually turned into helping run the YouTube channel for them myself, which was a pretty big jump for someone who just left university and had only been in full-time work for like a year and maybe just under a year before they asked me to do that. So it was a pretty huge leap. But it was a case of PCGamesN. I worked very closely with editorial staff. It was kind of more of a joint effort. So the editorial staff would work on video, and video would tend to help out with supplementing the editorial side of things. So it was quite easy to keep the distinct style there, because there was a lot of the same writers writing for video that were writing for the site. So that was quite easy. Rock Paper Shotgun, things changed quite a bit. I was no longer managing the channel. I was instead working for my boss, who was managing the channel. And the voice was a lot different there. It was completely different to the site. It wasn't really a supplement of it. There were reviews going up on the YouTube channel that were completely different to the reviews going up on the website. So the voices were completely different. And there was a different focus. It wasn't so indie focused on the channel. There were a few indie things still, but like Rock Paper Shotgun is pretty well known for its good indie coverage. But indie coverage is less easy to traffic on YouTube, so there was less of it on our YouTube channel, but still a bit. It's really strange because, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the voices of the videos have changed that much throughout each job. And obviously this job that I'm in now, VG247, I've been figuring out how it's going to be working out, but so far I felt quite a lot of myself go into everything that I've done, but still sticking to the distinct styles. So VG247 is kind of going back to more supplementing the site, as well as doing just content for just the YouTube channel. So we're going to be doing streams and let's plays and things that are just YouTubey, but also things that work well in articles. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just figuring out how the site works and how the channel works and how and if they want them to be kind of together or apart. And I think there's definitely pros and cons for doing them both ways, but there's been quite a lot of free reign both at Rock Paper Shotgun and VG247 so far. Rock Paper Shotgun, I feel like I made my stamp very clear with all my Sims stuff.
Yeah.
I just did so much Sims. I tried getting us into streaming more, and I just opened up my job at VG247 writing a video about how anxious Animal Crossing makes me feel. So I feel like there's already a part of me there as well. So it's quite nice to just be able to feel like I'm bringing myself to everything, but also there's definitely a shift in tone writing for VG247, writing for Rock Paper Shotgun, and then what's for writing for PCGamesN. There's definitely a shift in the way you write for them all, if that makes sense. So I don't know.
It's the weird thing. Like it's always been hard for me to identify like video editing as something creative. If that's like, it's not like drawing. It's not like when you draw something and somebody can just look at it, see exactly what your style is, and then like that's it, you know? Yeah. They can see like the colors and all that sort of stuff. Like video editing, it's one of those things where like it is creative. Like it is very creative, and you put a lot of your personality into it, I think, without even realizing it, because it's just too hard not to. Yeah. I mean, you spend so much time with these clips, but like you already have in your head sort of how you want the clips to go, but like that might not be the exact same way that someone else is thinking about it at all. Like it's so hard to it's just so hard to not put yourself into video editing. I think like the script obviously does a lot, and if it's like a punchy script with like a lot of like sort of crazy edits, like say, you know, more like a what culture or like I complete Yahtzee like type of like crazy edited animated video, like that kind of thing. Like obviously like that has their style stamped on it, but like it's so crazy how creative video editing is, but how mechanical it appears, like how mechanical. It's weird.
Yeah, it definitely you definitely scare people when they look over your shoulder and they see you're in Premiere Pro and they're like, huh? It's definitely, if you don't understand the program, or if your brain can't really compute what the hell you're seeing on screen, it's just a big square of grey with some coloured boxes on, and like 2 video channels that you can see on screen at once, and there's like little nodes on everything, and there's lines moving up and down. You're like, what does any of this mean?
And everybody has their own organization as well.
Oh yeah. That's one good thing about now being remote means you don't really have to deal with anyone else's Premiere Pro project, which is really good, because you just can't, like, there are some projects that I am so embarrassed by. Like, some of them start off so clean and so neat, and then they just turn into messes. Ones that need to get done really quickly, the messiest things you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
But ones that I can spend a bit more time on, I'm like, yeah, I could frame this and it would be really nice. But it's so strange taking something that is not your material. Well, so the thing I find that is weird about it, so even if you're editing for film and TV, you're taking someone else's creativity, like the filming. The thing that the person has filmed was what the director envisioned and what the writer put down on paper that has been turned into the material. And then you're the one creating something with someone else's creation, which I think is the weird bit about it, because you're not the first person to do anything with this. Like, even if you're capturing for games and stuff, you're still capturing someone else's creativity and then turning it into your own thing. And it's just such a weird kind of secondary creativity, I think, because sometimes obviously it's first-hand creativity, like if you're doing a vlog or if you're filming something from scratch and it's all your own work, then that's got like a different sense of creativity behind it to putting together some video game capture and creating something out of that. I don't know, it's quite strange.
It's like a weird like video editing whisper down the lane.
Yeah.
Like like, you know, it is exactly that. You get it from the director, and then the director gets from this goes to like the cinematographer, or I don't know what I don't know what the actual like thing down is, but then like by the time you get to the video editor, it's like edited down. I don't know how directors deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how they deal with it when they sort of think like, this is not what I'm after, but like I can't do much about it because the video editor is not maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's so strange. It's really strange.
But I do it's obviously like it's rewarding, isn't it? It's great to do something with video and to be able to produce video.
Yeah, it's very rewarding, but just very time consuming. Yeah. It takes so much longer to write a video than like any like other kind of written format. It just takes so much longer, but very rewarding, very rewarding.
Yeah. I always have it where like it could be like an hour has gone past and I've basically only done 15 seconds.
Oh, I know.
I'm just like, for frick's sake, like, where did that time go?
How is it taking me so long to do this? Like, you're like, oh, it's just a 12-minute video. Easy. And it's like, that will take you about 6 hours to edit. And it's like, how does it take me this long to do this?
It's so hard.
It's a bit like cooking, isn't it? Cooking takes so long to do, and it's over in seconds.
Yeah, they say like it's going to be 45 minutes. Okay, well, you haven't included the fact that I drop 3 eggs on the floor, or that you know, this flour over here is only partially done, and I have to figure out what I'm going to do in order to get more of that without like going to the store again. Yeah, it's
and then it's eaten within moments after all of that.
Yeah. Within seconds. But aside from that as well, I know you've been to like numerous game shows, like Gamescom. So how insane and how different is it to experience those kind of events working in video production?
Very manic. Long days, carrying around a camera, a tripod, some audio equipment, and then trying to get a video up with bad internet, slow laptops. Oh, they're some of the most rewarding times, fun times, but also some of the most stressful. Like the Gamescom I went to most recently, last year, I think it was, I didn't have any evenings basically because our evenings were taken up by editing the videos that we'd made, because it was just a two-person video team, and both of us were there. So we both had to work in the evenings with the content that we'd got that day. So it was quite a lot. And also recording VO while you're in a hotel room is some of the most difficult. Like, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Like, do you put a duvet over your head? Like, what do you do? Like, do you just say, sorry, it's going to be a bit weird audio quality because I'm in a different country in a hotel room? Or do you try and keep it to the same standards as the rest of your stuff? And yeah, it's manic. It's definitely manic. And I don't know. I do enjoy it. It's got a very strange feeling. Like E3 is fun. Like E3 is good. It's nice and warm. It's nice and hot. Like the weather is great, but you're stuck inside for most of it, and you're stuck inside running around like a headless chicken, especially when you're trying to film things for like 4 different journalists who are doing 4 different interviews like back to back, and you've got to run from one to the other. And then, it's very rewarding, but very manic.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, I know like from our perspective, doing like podcasts, whenever we go over to visit like my family in the States and stuff, just going into a different room with our mic stuff, I'm just like, this just feels wrong. This is wrong. I'm sorry. This is wrong. You know, like it just, the sound, the ambiance is different. But I've done E3 before, not as a video. No, just writing like news and stuff. And yeah, that just must be so stressful. I couldn't imagine like doing video editing on top of doing news, or like instead of.
It's just, especially when if you're trying to get capture back to like the home team as well, like just sitting in a press room and praying that the internet's fast enough.
Yeah, so that you can upload.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole stress.
It's like, upload speeds. When will you get to a point where it's just instant? Like, when will we get to a point where everywhere will just have an upload speed that is glorious and like above 10 megabytes or something? But you're very much ingrained in Adobe Premiere. I think we've talked about that before. Like, Windows Movie Maker was like for a little blip, and then Adobe Premiere all the way. What made you decide on Premiere versus like any of the other ones, like say Final Cut or Sony Vegas or DaVinci Resolve?
Yeah, so like you said, I started off with Windows Movie Maker back when I was younger and making Sims 2 Machinima.
So great.
That was the old me. I was making Fallout Boy and The Sims and making their music videos.
Yes, but I was doing My Chemical Romance was my choosing. Oh, yes. So yeah, you know, I did all that. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, good. And yeah, I basically used Windows Movie Maker up until my GCSEs, where we were just shown a Mac with Adobe Premiere on and was told to edit a advert on it. So that's how that happened. And from then on, I've just used Premiere Pro. It's been the only thing my schools have used. It was the only thing my uni used. I've never really had the chance to dabble with anything else. But also I've learned a lot of the Adobe Suite programs through being self-taught. So it's been quite handy to be able to kind of understand the Adobe language and understand where things are, because they tend to be in like similar places in each program. So if you need something in one program, and it will probably have an equivalent in the other ones. So it's been quite helpful to like learn it across. And I've been quite good at being able to teach people how to use Premiere Pro and After Effects and Photoshop, and it's just been, I don't know, just ingrained in me since I was younger. So I don't know.
It was a great choice because like so many of them have kind of come and gone now. I mean, obviously people still like to this day, like I was using Sony Vegas until only like a couple months ago. I mean, people still used Final Cut, but like it seems to be that like Adobe is like top dog of them all, just because like it is so easy to use. Like the fact that you have all these other programs, like it's seamless. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's very user friendly as well. Like it's very forgiving and very helpful with tips and things. Like Adobe has got so many forums, and like you even get like startup tips sometimes. If there's a new update, it explains everything for you. Sometimes the updates do ruin things. Like if you've got used to how something works and then they change it, it can be a bit jarring. But there was a Photoshop update, I think, where if you clicked to change the size of an image in your layer, normally you would just be able to, I think you used to have to drag the corner but also press shift to keep the aspect ratio. Then they patched that out so that you just drag the corner and you don't have to press shift, and if you press shift it takes it out of its aspect ratio or something like that.
What is that all about?
That threw me off for months.
Oh, I still do that because like Illustrator, they haven't changed it.
Yeah, and nor have they changed it in After Effects.
Like, why? What was the purpose of that?
So we say Adobe is really good at some things, but it's also got some pitfalls.
Yeah, I guess that kind of has to.
Yeah,
but like,
we can't all be perfect, can we?
Of all the things to have wrong with it, why that one? Like, really, Adobe? Why did you have to go for the transform ability?
I know. The transform tool was good as it was. We all knew how to use it. And if you're not going to change it in every program, don't change it in one.
I still have it, though, where like I'll go to resize an image or like to transform an image, and I just end up with this little weird sausage person instead.
You're like, how did that happen?
And then I'm just like, great, thanks. But yeah. as a sort of final question, how do you ensure that you're still improving on your video editing skills?
I kind of keep my editing skills up by making sure I do it in my own time. So with my Twitch stuff, I've started uploading cut downs of VODs, like not highlights, but like just tiny little half an hour cut downs of VODs into small series on a YouTube channel, just to keep that alive. Like that doesn't really need much in terms of editing skills, but I've been learning a few new Adobe After Effects skills with doing like introductions, like intro sequences and wipes, and with some different with some overlays that I use for Twitch and stuff. I edit them in After Effects, even though I like buy pre-made things and then alter them to be how I want them to be. So that kind of helps me keep up to date with what's going on and stuff. And sometimes I just really want to learn how to do a thing, and I just watch a YouTube tutorial on it, and I end up learning how to put snow in a video or something. And it's just good to just keep on top of things like that. But I do actually want to start doing speed builds in The Sims on my own YouTube channel, because I really like building in The Sims, and I think it would be really good to kind of teach myself how to cut down a massive long video into the important things. But I think the way that I improve my video skills the most is just by doing it pretty much daily. There's not really a day that goes by that Premiere Pro isn't open. Or if there is, it's probably only shut for 3 days a week, and then it's open for the other 4. So it's just kind of, it's one of those things where it's kind of just muscle memory opening up Premiere Pro every morning. And even if I have nothing to do in it, I'm like, oh yeah, there you are, my old friend. And then
just like, why am I here? Like John Travolta, what's going on?
Basically. Yeah, I just try to make sure that I'm keeping Premiere Pro a thing that I use in my personal time as well as my professional time. And the same with After Effects as well. I actually use After Effects probably more for personal stuff than I do for work. Just because obviously with work there's like boundaries and guidelines and rules to stick to, whereas with my personal stuff I can just kind of do whatever the hell I want and get away with it. So it's just a lot easier to like learn wacky new things. But yeah, when I used to do YouTube a bit more regularly, like taught myself how to do some strange wipes and stuff to have video transitions and lower thirds and stuff. I just really enjoy kind of figuring out how to make videos look that little bit more professional, I think. So
yeah, experimenting and stuff.
Yeah, I like experimenting with my editing programs a lot, so that's how I keep it improved, I suppose.
Thank God for YouTube.
I know. I wouldn't be anywhere without it.
No, it is absolutely like a just glorious pit of tutorials and all the lovelies.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I never knew that my job would be on YouTube either, which is mad to think these days. It's just weird.
I know.
Really weird. I know.
But yeah, thank you so much for coming on my show and gabbing all about The Sims and freaking video editing, because I love it. I love it so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a really good time. It's been really fun.
That's it for this episode of She Plays Games. Please be sure to follow Alice on Twitter at @GrimSevers_. And if you're interested in streaming, her Discord is Strem Friends. Also, if you want more episodes of She Plays Games, please be sure to subscribe and follow me on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube by searching She Plays Games, and on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at She Plays Podcast. If you want to be on the show or want to nominate someone to come on the show, you can email me at sheplayspodcast@gmail.com. See you all next time on She Plays Games.